Hey, what's up, guys? I've been a little sick lately, so actually ended up not going to work. Uh, so I was spending time watching a lot of movies that I've been remiss in watching over the last couple of years. I had gotten this a little while ago, The 800. This is an interesting film, of course. Lake Chanjin, some of the new Chinese war films coming out. Very interesting, very interesting. Obviously, Chanjin was controversial for the reasons you can see the video I did, but the 800 is also controversial. Apparently, huge movie made in when it was released in 2020 in August when they opened up again after but the 800 was interesting. It was about the Shanghai, in '37, the battle, the urban fighting with the Japanese. When I saw this too, I said that's interesting. They would do a film about this because obviously in China today, the Chi Coms, to me, they still will say communist things, in language, especially when referring to this movie. But obviously, in a lot of ways, the China of today is probably more like what the Kuomintang, who are the heroes, or at least the protagonists in this, the nationalist army, Chiang Kai-shek's men, were portrayed as the, like I said, the guys fighting against the Japanese. So this is why, if you watch this film, they edited it a little bit, so when you see the nationalist flag being waved and put on top of the building, which is central to the story, actually, it's sort of faded, okay? Which is funny because last I checked, from what I hear in Taiwan, the KMT, right? They want to unify with China. In some ways, you could argue Chiang Kai-shek finally won that. But in terms of the film, obviously, this deals with, as you see, the uniforms of the men. A lot of the men are equipped with German equipment. Of course, these were kind of overstated, but Germany was trying to help the nationalist Chinese at the time. Obviously, their main enemies at one point were the communists. So, now, if you really look into this, the communists, amongst others, actually instigated, on their part, wisely, the Japanese into combat, knowing the nationalist forces would take the brunt of it as they were officially the government. So, in some ways, this worked out in the long strategy of Mao Zedong. Of course, you don't want to admit that you actually helped spark off this thing, which ended up with the death of God knows how many Chinese. Now, is the film realistic? Well, is the film realistic? Well, I will say, first off, what I like in these films, just like I liked in Lake Chanjin, you don't see, and listen, man, I'm a Hong Kong Kung Fu Shaw Brothers fan from back, in the NYW, drive-in movie days, but I don't want to see that in a damn war movie, and you don't see that. The hand-to-hand fighting is brutal, realistic. You don't have one guy, like, doing a Jet Li on 10 Japanese soldiers. It's like in Lake Chanjin, when the guys actually were having trouble with the Americans' larger size. You don't get that. The Japanese are tough as nails, of course, willing to kill themselves to achieve their objectives. But remember, many Chinese do that too, and you see that in this film. They'll show you a scene. Also, the fact that the idea was this was sort of a show Chiang Kai-shek put up in front of the world to basically try to get support for China. Shanghai was like the New York of, China. It was an international city. A lot of white Russians went there after the revolution. Who were not Bolsheviks and Reds. You had the first film there, the filmmaking studios. The Shaw Brothers were from Shanghai originally. They moved because of the war. Other things too. It's interesting seeing the civilians, the very Western buildings and people, and the very Westernized Chinese living amongst them, who basically every day watch these guys being attacked by the Japanese. It's funny too. The British are technically in charge, so you get to hear British soldiers throughout the film yelling at people not to cross the bridge, because once they do, the Japs start shooting them. So you're hearing these British guys yelling at everybody, commands at everybody, and nobody's listening. Excuse me. Oh, Thank you, China, for the vid. Just kidding. Yeah, this was really good. Really good film to watch. Even the ending is a little. The ending was kind of, they had to do what happened, which is eventually these guys had to break away and, you know, escape into the populace. Unfortunately for them, the Japanese then went on and they got more heavy-handed. They went on from here to Shanghai. Obviously, the Yangtze River is a very good port system. River goes like deep into the interior, but the Japanese took Shanghai and went to Nanking, and you know what happened there as well. But the fighting in this is brutal, and it's once again like Stalingrad or whatever. You think of ancient China, you think of this exotic place. It's already an industrial kind of drab wasteland already by this time in history, and you see it in the backdrop of the fighting. The only disappointing thing for me was there was some tankette scenes. Well, not even scenes, just like tankettes. The two-man tanks the Japanese had just kind of knocked out and just sitting there. So there wasn't really a lot of armor scene, but this movie was hard enough to make, apparently. So anyway, enough of me yapping. I'll show some scenes from it, and yes, it is recommended. If I didn't say it before. The Japanese are doing like a Roman shield thing here. Oh man. This dude's like, yeah. Give this to my mom. I'll show you. My man's like, I'll show you how Chinese died. Yeah, what's up? Oh. Yeah. Oh. They're like, oh shit. Oh. And they're all watching. And you see these scouts too, these Chinese scouts trying to help the men, but you know. And this is the civilians watching it with the first row seat. And then they all start doing, they follow his example. Oh man, alright. And this scene, they're going over the bridge against the British guy's you know, advice. There's a sniper, but what is that flag? Oh. Don't shoot that flag. Oh, don't go out there, bro. The British, they keep yelling. Nobody listens. Don't hit the Germans. That's right. The sniper's mad, but they don't have the wire box. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, and then you get Chinese who try to help, and they just get popped. And this dude's like a gangster dude. His sister runs the casino.
I'm from Kishuang Village, Dongzhongpu, Yaochen. Give this money to my mother.
Right. These guys are all volunteering, and that's, of course, you know who these guys with the hats are, right? They're a benevolent association. they're trying to help these guys. Oh. Oh. And this dude's just like, I'm gangster. There's the opera guys watching. Yeah, you got it. Looks at his sister. Wow, she runs the casino. Got a boyish cut. This guy was cool, man. And you see a lot of these characters where you just see them show up and then, you know, and it goes right in front of the Benevolent Association guy, right? Member of the community.
Chamber of Commerce, Shanghai branch, Young Daozi. I've always
been a
fast runner. I know I can do it.
That's an old triad thing, by the way, in case you didn't get what I was hitting at.
Be careful.
This British guys are just like, all these Chinese are running across, they won't bloody listen to us.
He's going to get killed. He's halfway there.
Oof, yeah. He's trying to get them the phone. Nobody listens to the British dude. Oh man, he's done up, but I bet you this dude's name is Uncle something. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah. They got communication now. So that's how the movie is, man. I recommend it. Go see it, man. It's a good movie. Hail China. Oh. Yeah. Oh, the poor scout girls. You see if she does later, but she does it at night though. Yeah, your brother's dead.